Hey everybody, Dr. Michael Griffith from Northern Inland Chiropractic in Armidale. Just here to show you and go through a lower limb stretching flow to help improve generalized lower limb flexibility. All right, now the first part of the stretch is a muscle you should be familiar with, which is your hamstrings. So I'll do it in a couple of angles. Firstly, we're just going to be straightening the leg that we're going to stretch. Usually I'd make a little bend on the opposite side, and we're going to come down as far as comfortable. So if you can make it to shin, and that's fine, hold at that position and then start to slowly crawl your hands down and hold. You're going to roughly hold the stretches for 10 to 15 seconds each side, sometimes more, until you can eventually start to make your way in and feeling the stretch posteriorly. Through here, we're working the mid-muscle belly. You can also slightly alternate to work differing areas of your hamstrings, so you can slightly turn your foot out and hold, and slightly turn your foot in and hold, just to work slightly different areas of the muscle belly. Now, after the hamstrings are completed, be mindful that as you're doing these, do them bilaterally, one on each side. The next one we're going to move into with the flow will be your groin, or a little butterfly stretch. So what we're trying to do through here is feet together. We're going to bring your knees slightly up and use the elbows to push against. And as you're doing that, you'll start to feel a stretch through the upper part of the groin and inner thigh. And again, you can slightly lean into it, elbows down while you're slightly adducting or bringing your knees together and holding for approximately 10 to 15 seconds. Now, after the groin, the next part of the flow will be to come into the gluteal areas. So this is predominantly going to be working areas like your piriformis, glute med, glute min, and your gluteal max muscle across your larger butt muscle. So for this one, to start with, I'm going to be bringing left leg across, right arm. I like to hook it with my elbow in front, below and in front of the knee, which gives me a free hand if I'm, say, at a computer typing or a cup of tea. From here, you can reinforce that, and the idea is you're then bringing your knee back to the opposite shoulder and pulling. You can slightly rotate your trunk to add to the stretch, and I'll do one from the side and this way. So opposites. Now, right leg's coming across, left arm in front, elbow hooking in and under or below the knee, reinforcing, turning slightly and pulling backwards, and we're really feeling the stretch through the side of the buttocks. Now, after we've moved from the gluteal stretches, the next move in the flow is to start to move into your hip flexors, or otherwise known as psoas muscles. So what we're going to do through here, one leg up. Now, the base side with my knee planted is the side we will be stretching. The idea for this one is we're going to be translating our body forward. We don't want to arch that low back and exaggerate the stretch through the low back. We're trying to work through here. So ideally what we want to have is a straight neutral spine, and we're going to translate the body forward to get the stretch. So essentially it's leaning forward and feeling that stretch right through. And again, we're going to hold for 10 to 15 seconds. This can also be done with your foot resting on something while you're standing, but I tend to find this is a much easier stretch. So lunging, leg forward, parallel side down, and gently lunging in until the desired level of stretch is there, and gently holding 10 to 15 seconds. Now, after you've completed your psoas or hip flexor stretches, stand up. You can have the aid of a chair handy, but next thing we're going to do is work our quadricep muscles. So this one is basically lifting that heel and pulling it back to the butt and getting a nice generalized stretch in through the front of the thigh. Again, holding for 10 to 15 seconds, looking at it straight on, tucking through, getting your balance. You can often focus on the spot if you're standing. Aid of a chair is always good, and stretching through. After this, we'll move against the wall and we'll be able to work our calf and basically gastrocoelial junction, which is where we're feeding in to the Achilles tendon right at the base. So a calf and Achilles stretch to finish it off. And now we're going to move into our calf and Achilles tendon stretches. This is where you need a little space against the wall or something to push off, so just against reception here. So first up, we're going to straighten our back leg, foot flat on the floor, front knee is going to be with heel in front of the post or the back leg's toes, hands forward. We're going to then, keeping our legs straight, bend our front knee and lunge essentially into that stretch. Because the foot's flat at the back, we'll start to feel the stretch through the upper part of the calf muscles, the heads of the gastrocs each side. After you've held that for a good 10 to 15 seconds, it's then wise to let the knee slightly bend at the back and you just slightly drop into it to the desired level, and you'll start to feel a stretch through the base of the Achilles tendon close to the heel. So a nice way, after stretching through 10 to 15 seconds, then both knees slightly bend and you just let the back knee bend into that stretch. 10 to 15 seconds on each, and that's the lower limb flow completed.